Hello everybody, welcome back to another YouTube video. It's your boy Jedi Plays 450, and we're here with another album review. This time of Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band by the Beatles. This one is definitely different than all of the other albums I've reviewed. I mean, sure, I did Asia, and that's like a decade away from this one, a decade removed. But the Beatles are just so Beatles. And you know what? They're probably like one of the biggest, if not the biggest band of all time. So it's like you might as well freaking review them at least once. I mean, I guess. This album released on May 26, 1967, and it's definitely one of their albums. I don't know which one of their albums it is. I think it's in the middle, but don't ask me, man. This is like my first actual Beatles album that I've listened to, and it definitely is an album. The first song, it's the intro. It's Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. It's just a little. It's the opener, right? It's not its own song. I mean, it is its own song literally, but I wouldn't consider it to be its own song because they're just kind of introducing the whole album. Like, hi, we're Sgt. Pepper, whatever they're called, and we're here to perform for you. The only thing I had written down was that it was rockin' with a single quote at the end. And it had a good transition to the next song, which is With a Little Help from My Friends. And that's the first actual song. And I had heard it prior because they were singing a live version way like recently, I think. And it's a cute little tune, right? I get by with a little help from my friends. See, it's nice to listen to because it's so simple and just it's good. Like I don't have any way to describe it specifically. Like I'm sitting there and you listen to it kind of like I get by with a little help from my friends, and that's the only way I can describe it. It's a good song. It's probably one of my favorites off the album, but again, I don't know what to say. The next song is Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds, and that has a lot more to it, I think, because it's so psychedelic. That's the word. It's psychedelic because they're describing whoever the heck Lucy is and her whole world that they're like looking into, and they're like, wow, she got the kaleidoscope eyes. She's in the clouds and stuff. So they kind of paint that picture, but then like all of the verses are like swaying around slowly, trippy kind of, and then the choruses are like Lucy in the sky with diamonds. And I think that's interesting. I'm probably veering more towards the side that I don't like it, but it's not like I hate it, or it's not a strong opinion on that, okay? The next song is Getting Better. And this one is kind of, I read it as being sarcastic because they go through the verses and they're describing, like the first one is about how he just did not like school and all the teachers and administrators, he thought they were uncool. Like, I'm pretty sure that's literally what they said. So, this guy's kind of got a chip on his shoulder, right? And he's got anger issues. And then he's like, but I'm getting better. I'm gotta say, I'm getting better. And then it keeps going. And then he talks about beating his wife. And it's like, all right. But he also says in the chorus, it's getting better because I'm here with you. But you beat your wife. So I'm wondering, like, what is going on there? Is that like, I mean, obviously things were very not great in the past, right? So I don't know if that's just like a casual kind of like just mention of it because that's what they did, or if it's like sarcastic in the fact like the protagonist is saying that they're getting better, but they're not, and they just think they're getting better. I don't know, maybe a weird read. Maybe I'm reading into it too much, but it just caught my attention. The next song is Fixing a Hole, and I have even less to say about this than anything else. It's like, I like one of the riffs. The next song is She's Leaving Home, and this one, I would also say is unremarkable, but it is actually, it's got its own personality to it. I think the story that they paint, I'm having difficulty remembering it, but I do remember in the moment, it was very vivid. The song is slower, I think, So that's nice about it. I also said it was ethereal in a way, like Lucy in the Sky with diamonds. So I guess it's also kind of psychedelic. Well, this one doesn't feel psychedelic. It just kind of feels slower and more vibey, for lack of a better word. But yeah, it has a weird and different vibe to it. That it doesn't capture the word weird. It's just slower and unlike a rock, just rocking song. The next song is For the Benefit of Mr. Kite. Now, this one specifically kind of caught my attention because it came after like fixing a hole and She's Leaving Home, which didn't really leave that much of an impact on me. Then all of a sudden they just bring out freaking For the Benefit of Mr. Kite, and I've always had this thing for songs that name their characters really stupid names. Namely, Steely Dan. Steely Dan seems to do that a little bit. They got one song, Glamour Profession, where they call someone Hoops McCain. If that's a real person, I'm sorry you got named that. If that's someone's nickname, that also sounds stupid. And then there's another one. They start off at Midnight Cruiser. He starts off the song by saying felonious, my old friend. Now he could just be saying that his friend is felonious, like the what's it called, the adjective. But I always read it as the name, and that name always pissed me off. So Midnight Cruiser is a really good song. It's just the name Felonious really pisses me off. Okay, I'm getting off track. For the benefit of Mr. Kite, he's called Mr. Kite. There's kind of a circus thing going on here. Like, look, this fucking Mr. Kite. He's doing his thing. He's doing his little thing. And I wouldn't put this in rotation, but I think it's funny because they're talking all in this circus announcing manner. And it's just a funny song. It's a fun and funny song, but I wouldn't put this in rotation. The next song is Within You, Without You. And this is another weird one. If I was describing like other songs as psychedelic, this one is actually like psychedelic because they have the I Show Speed Egyptian dance. It's literally just Egyptian things that I associate with Egyptian like culture and imagery. Obviously, I'm gonna say the I Show Speed thing because he's in my brain. But yeah, no, the instrument that they use is the same one as they do for like all the Egyptian stereotypical soundtrack stuff, and that really captures just psychedelia and whatnot. And they're also talking about some spiritual stuff as well, so that also adds to it. The next song is When I'm 64, and this is another one of my favorites because I guess I have a soft spot for songs that they have like a random age that they're gonna look forward to in the future. Although I do only have one song that reminds me of that, and that song is called 25 by Cade and Jonic. Now, I know some of you will know what that song is, but for those of you who randomly came across this video, you don't worry about it. But yeah, no, I got the same vibe as that. So in my head, 25 by Cade and Jonic came before When I'm 64 by the Beatles, which is a really interesting just thing that I thought I'd share. But no, I like the vibe of the song. I don't think, like, I always have a tendency to read lyrics as sort of sarcastic, like I did with, what's it called, Getting Better. That one I read as sarcastic, and I hope there's no, like, underlying sarcasm or, like, dark humor. There's a different word, but I can't find it. Dark humor to When I'm 64, because it is a really nice song. You want to grow old with a person and just, like, do the garden, I don't know, cook the food, freaking live life, go on car rides with whoever you want to have when you're 64. And I think that's really a really nice picture that they paint. Oh, and I also wrote down that it has a Disneyland-ass melody and the clarinet lull. So the next song is Lovely Rita. This song is also pretty funny, like along the lines of the freaking Mr. Kite. Maybe just because the way they say Lovely Rita, meter maid, is funny, and also the whole situation of the song itself, just like seeing like, wow, that lady's pretty, and she's also a meter maid. She just charged me for a freaking parking ticket, but she's also really pretty. Wow. So that seems pretty, not absurd, but almost, because the Beatles are playing it. Well, they're not playing it straight, but they are playing it. They're just playing it, They're like, yeah, Lovely Rita. Okay, I'm just saying words now. They got a funny ass saloon piano solo as well, so that's there. So that's a pretty funny song. And the next song is "Good Morning, Good Morning." That's another funny song because they start off the song by saying "Good morning, good morning, good morning," and that's the chorus. Good morning, good morning. Like what's I mean, that's an interesting choice. So one thing that really caught me off guard about it was the solo. I was like, "Oh shit! Wait, the Beatles can do that? I didn't know they could do that." So they did that, right? And I'm imagining like, wow, what if you were in 1967 and then you like you heard that and you're like, "Oh my gosh, what the heck are they playing? That sounds I don't know about that. That sounds really evil. I'm not sure about that." That's probably how they felt back in the day, right? Or maybe the opposite. That's what drew people in, right? I think that's literally the case, because of all the Beatlemania and stuff. I like the solo, okay, and I like the drums. The what's it? I like the rhythm on the bridge, whatever that one part is called. I'll probably play it. But I don't know what the song structure is. So shout out Ringo as well. I think that the animal sound effects, throughout the song, they play a rooster at the beginning, and it's like, okay, yeah, good morning. But then they end off the song with a fade out, but also a bunch of animal noises just playing. There's like at one point a dog on chains. It sounds like it's chasing you, and it's like, that's a choice. Okay. The next song is Sergeant Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band Reprise, and it's not the closer. There's one more song after this, but it's kind of like, we're done with our performance, right? We showed you all we needed to show you, or all we wanted to show you, and we're gonna go leave. Thanks for coming. And I like that as a concept. Like, there's one like track before the actual last track. It works really well for this album, since it really just seems like, the Sergeant Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band came out on the street. They're like, "Hey, we're gonna perform." Then they performed. Then they're like, "Goodbye." And then the next song is called "A Day in the Life." And just from the song title and some of the lyrics in the song, it's like, I like that. Whoever the protagonist one or whoever the protagonist is, right? They were in this band, and then now they're just going about the day in the life. Or maybe it's like whoever was watching the band, they're gonna go on with their day in the life, and they're kind of just watching stuff go on. I think they read out like several like news headlines, like, "Oh, the war is over," or "This guy shot himself in his car," and it's like, well, that's just the day in the life. That shit just happens, and that's kind of crazy to think about. That's how it is now, right? Um, I don't know if that was the intent, but I like reading it that way, so it is the intent. Now, the things that I don't like about it are those building parts. Like, it happens twice, where like the whole orchestra, I guess, whatever is playing, it's kind of like it makes a bunch of noise, and it's like, whomp. I like the end of it when it goes like whomp, but the build up just kind of pisses me off because it's just a bunch of noise that I don't like. Yeah, I mean, it's certainly a choice. I don't know why they did that. I'm trying to think of reasons why they would do that, but I can't. So I don't know. Maybe someone can tell me. And then at the very end, they play a high pitched noise like 30 seconds before the ending, and then it just starts playing like a loop of the Beatles just saying random crap, except one of the lines is "Never could see any other way, never could see any other way." And my conspiracy theory is that that's actually Beatles psyops, right? So they play that high pitched noise, to like inject something into your brain, and then they play the next clip of "Never could see any other way," over and over again as like subliminal messaging, because you already got conditioned. And then and then when the last living Beatle dies, I think Ringo and Paul McCartney are alive. When they die, they're gonna unleash Beatle mania on the world, the real Beatle mania. All right, mark my words, bro. Beatle mania is coming. When one of them dies, or when both of them die, it's coming, bro. Okay, okay. But yeah, that was Sergeant Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band. Definitely really interesting. It clocks in at 39 minutes. I probably should have said that at the beginning, but definitely an interesting album because I've never listened to I guess, classic rock and roll like that. And they were doing some psychedelic stuff on this album as well. I don't know if I'm the biggest fan of that one, of that aspect, but that was also choices that they made. I think my favorite tracks are, let me see. Let me see. My favorite tracks are With a Little Hope for My Friends. Not for the benefit of Mr. Kite. I think it's just really funny. But When I'm 64, and okay, that's honestly it. Like, I like aspects of other songs, but I wouldn't exactly call them my favorites because they have other aspects that I'm not fond of, right? Like Good Morning had a really good solo, had some good like drum beats, but they played a bunch of animal noises at the end, and that kind of just wasted the runtime. Even though it's like 3 minutes, you know what I can't comprehend or process. And then like A Day in the Life, you know, they have this cool concept of a ending song with timely lyrics, and then they just do the whole noise thing, and then the Beatles psyops, and it's like, okay, all right, I don't need that in my playlist. But yeah, for the Beatles, a good album. That's a good album, and I will be back with more album reviews that aren't just my music, but I also will be back with more album reviews that are my music, and I will also be back with, oh, that video would have come out already because I'm trying to like schedule things. I'm going to record a video right after this too. You'll see what goes into making these videos, which is not much. But anyways, yeah, y'all have a good one, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.